Once again, welcome to our webinar series. The Washtenaw County Health Department and the Washtenaw County Medical Society are pleased to provide this webinar as part of our 2021 Cannabis in Practice series. Visit the Cannabis in Practice webinar series webpage for updates, links to archive webinars, and more. We will add the link to the chat. And now I have the pleasure of introducing today's speaker, Teesha Montague. After 10 years of service as patrol officer and then in financial services as coordinator of collections and student payment plans at Washtenaw Community College, Ms. Montague headed to Oakland, California, where she attended Oaksterdam University, the first university dedicated to the education and destigmatizing of cannabis. In 2017, Ms. Montague became the Director of Operations at Huron Provisioning Center, the only locally owned and Black women-led provisioning center in Washtenaw County. Over the years, while working in the medical cannabis field, Ms. Montague has developed a passion for coordinating and creating veteran-focused programs and referral services at the facility. During the COVID-19 pandemic, she created the Veterans and Senior Meds and Meals program after noticing there was a consistent need beyond cannabis among their senior and veteran patients. Prior to her position at Huron View, Ms. Montague trained and worked with various organizations such as the Wayne County Mental Health Department, the Veterans Resource Center at Washtenaw Community College, and the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, organizing specific initiatives to support the needs of veterans. Ms. Montague and her mother, Christina, owner of Huron View and a former social worker, have made it their mission to help veterans by delivering meals, spending time educating, and talking both at their homes and at the dispensary. They even started a counseling program and veterans peer group. Ms. Montague's leadership skills are demonstrated through her current and former service, which includes serving as the Vice President of the Michigan Association of Student Financial Services Administrators, an advocate, a spokesperson, and board member of the Ann Arbor Club of the National Association of Negro Businesses and Professional Women's Club, which is a national entrepreneur resource and nonprofit organization, founder of the National Association of Minority Women in Cannabis, and owner of 2 cannabis brands. Welcome to the webinar series, Ms. Montague.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you to the Washtenaw County Department of Health and the Washtenaw County Medical Society for having me today. Before we get started, I do want to read a disclaimer. If you'll just give me one moment. Okay. So the information discussed and contained within these slides should not be considered to be personal medical advice. This should be used for informational purposes only. Reference to any specific product, process, or service, or the use of any trade, firm, or corporation name is for informational and convenience of session attendees and does not constitute medical advice, endorsement, recommendation, or favoring by the Washtenaw County Medical Society or the Washtenaw County Health Department. Nothing can replace the relationship patients have with their medical provider. Today, we will discuss a few key points. We will discuss my background, identifying the needs of veterans, breaking down those communication barriers, common questions or concerns veterans may have when discussing or beginning cannabis or CBD use, ways to safely consume or absorb cannabis and CBD, dosing, benefits, and how they can safely access CBD and cannabis. And then lastly, we'll ask if anyone has any questions, and we will go on from there. So I'll be brief because Mr. Wilson did provide most of my background. I started probably working in the cannabis field earlier than when we started actually in the industry. We were advocates I have scoliosis, and I have a curved spine, and I have a slip disc. So sciatic nerve pain was just tremendous for me. So cannabis was huge. But once we started in the business, we opened here on View in 2017. But shortly before that, I had attended Oaksterdam, which was in California, and there I met a ton of people who were interested in different parts of the industry. But the education piece and learning about the plant and the specific cannabinoids and terpenes is what kind of piqued my interest, because I wanted to understand how it worked and how people were able to utilize it to help them in their everyday lives. So with that experience and us opening and my 15 years of working with veterans from different organizations, we took that information and we really created a space that was community based. And we want veterans to understand that we are for the veteran community. We are a veteran family. We created on-site referral services and also referral services for different incidentals and pillows and socks and blankets, because those small things that some of them didn't have. And so we create opportunities for people to donate and receive those services. And then during the pandemic, we created the Senior and Veterans Meds and Meals Program, which was phenomenal, where we had patients who had to decide, could they afford their medicine, or do they or do they get a meal? And so we work with local grocery stores, we work with local restaurants to provide free meals for them. So it was really awesome, and we're glad to be able to do so. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit today about identifying the needs of these veterans from their perspective. A lot of times, veterans are afraid to disclose things. They're afraid to say that they use cannabis or they need cannabis for a certain reason, or it helps them. And so we want to create ways that we can communicate with them and break down those barriers and develop those comfort zones with them. We want to get to know our patients. We want to create a way to start that dialogue. And so you may want to start out and say, hey, as a healthcare provider or someone that is helping them, you may want to say, hey, what's your favorite food, or, your favorite TV program, or possibly your favorite radio station, or what's your favorite song? Or if they have a pet, what's their pet's name? Is it a dog? Is it a cat? Is it a bird? We notice a lot of veterans utilize pets for anxiety and PTSD and companionship. And so getting to know those family members, because that's what they are, is essential to them. Next, jot down something. Jot down what that favorite TV show was, or that favorite name of that pet was. And then the next time that you see them, recall that information. That'll let the patients know that you were listening, that you hear them, that you remembered that, that's big to them. Ask about their cat. I sometimes ask about Ethel, which is one of my favorite veterans cats' names. And I say, how's Ethel doing? Is she being good? And so he'll just laugh, and he's blind. So you have veterans who have so many different things that they have going on. So you want to help create those comfort zones before you have this conversation. So then you can start to have that conversation on, why do you choose it? What is the reason? How does it help you? And ask them, and they'll be a little bit more free once you break down those barriers. Encourage, but don't push. We notice that encouraging conversations are much easier received, and it helps alleviate that tension and that apprehension. Be clear, be concise, because a lot of them, they want to know, what is going to happen to me if I tell you that I need cannabis or I need CBD? So let them know, hey, you won't lose your benefits. Yes, I have to document this information, because a lot of them say, well, what are you writing down? Or, well, why are you doing this? What are you putting in my file? And we have to just be clear and let them know, hey, we need this data. If you're saying that this helps you, or you utilize this for this, then we want to know why and where and how we can help you in your, in your daily life, because they need it sometimes just to get through the entire day. And you'll have their history there, so you'll know, kind of what they're going through, if they have, PTSD, or if they have a mental disorder, or maybe a manic episode, or maybe they're going through chemo and they have severe nausea and they've lost a ton of weight, and they need to develop that appetite. So by starting with just that general information can help out, and as I said, can really help with those that uncomfortable conversation. And as I mentioned, some of them have these concerns, and they're really just anxious about it because they're like, can I go to jail? Am I going to get in trouble? More and more we talk about education before elevation. We are huge on that here at Huron View. Education before elevation is huge because we want people to be able to make informed decisions, to know what their rights are, what the rules are, what the laws are. No, you won't lose your medical insurance. Will it pay for it? Well, not right now, but maybe in the future. Can I lose my housing? Well, I mean, that will depend on your lease, but a lot of times these are the questions that they have, and these are the type of concerns that they have. And so we try to give them resources to different community centers and community organizations through the VA that have information on their websites. We like to share a lot of that information, but right here in this space, we want to be that mechanism to say, okay, we understand, we get it. Now, why do you use it? And then now us as providers of that, we want to give them what they need, that right strain that they need. And some of them, they like to consume in different ways. We have veterans who like to safely consume orally. They may want to go and they may have an edible in the morning. And, they may have some tea, some honey, some infused honey in their tea. And then in the evening, they may want a gummy to help them sleep. So there are certain ways that you can intake cannabis besides smoking or anything like that you can actually consume it without having a trace. And so a lot of them are really big on, I don't want to smell like it. So that's a way that they can safely consume. And then you have your arthritis patients, or your joint patients, or those people with that severe back pain. And so they're going to be able to utilize those topicals and those rubs and those salves, and those come in different doses and milligrams. And so we'll get into that a little more soon. But also then you have your sublingual. So that's underneath the tongue. That's where it dissolves underneath the tongue. And so those are more fast acting. Those are tend to be sometimes stronger depending on the dosage. And so we always want to help them we need to actually ask them, hey, are you beginning? How long have you used this product? How long have you used cannabis or CBD? And then that way we can have a more informed way of being able to help them select those products that they need. And of course, the inhalation and vaporizing and things like that. So again, dosing. So we understand that it is definitely not a one size fits all here. Okay. We want to begin and we want to take it slow and low. We want to make sure that it is something that they are introduced to in a way that they don't over medicate or freak out, or it sends them into a state where it doesn't work for them or their body, or it gives them some type of other effects that they were not looking for. So first of all, we want to take into consideration how they medicate. What's the method that they use? How long have they utilized it? Are they new to this? How often do they use it? Do they just use it in the morning when they get up to get their day started? Do they need it in the middle of the day because they become sleepy? Or do they just need it at night to sleep because they have insomnia or severe pain, or their mind is just racing? So sometimes they may report to us that, I've got so much going on. My mind, I just can't shut it down at night. I'm thinking about a million things. And sometimes it's, just that they just need that little small dose to go ahead and take that edge off to help them get that relief that they're seeking. And again, we want to avoid over medicating. So we're going to talk about doing some of this dosing. I have a THC dosing chart here, and it talks about micro dosing. So a micro dose is anywhere from about 5 to about 7 milligrams, as you can see here. So that's called a micro doser. That's kind of like a novice. They're just beginning. They're kind of a lightweight. They haven't really grasped, the concept, or they're new to it. And then we have those people who, they have used it, and they have found some comfort and some relief. And so they may need a little bit more to help them find that comfort or relief. And we call that a mellow. And then you get into like your mild or your euphoria, your elation. So that's more of like your 25 milligram pieces. So excuse me, if you're thinking about, let's say, for instance, a candy bar, okay, just a regular candy bar. So 1 square is about 10 milligrams. And so about 2.5 squares is about 25 milligrams. And so therefore, that is something that people can, they can use as almost like a way to gauge, how well it's working for them, or i.e., do I scale back a little bit? That was too much. Because once we get to the intense or the delirium, delirium intense is about 50 milligrams. So those are for folk who have really, really severe pain or really, really severe insomnia, and they use it in doses. They don't normally dose it in 50 milligrams, but they may intake up to 50 milligrams in a few hours, just because that's what they're using to help combat that pain. And then we have the 100 milligrams and above, and we mostly see someone who's really experienced, but really, really in excruciating pain or excruciating insomnia or IBS or some type of stomach. A lot of times we find people with a lot of issues with their stomach. They need that higher dosing because it just helps them be able to be comfortable just to get through the day. And so that brings us to, once we dose, once we know what type of strains work, what works, how do we know what works, what doesn't? And so they have these things called strains, CBD and cannabis strains. And so we notice that certain strains and certain profiles do different things. And so cannabis is made up of a ton of cannabinoids, terpenes. It's a plant that has so many different properties. These terpenes, if you look at the picture, those are what make those red colors. Those are what you smell when you open up the package. That's what they smell. So those are what gives the different effects to those strains. So they might be fruity or diesely. We find like some of the Gorilla Glues or some of the Kushes or the Diesels. Those are great. They have a lot of trichome. They have a lot of trichomes. You'll see this like white crystally, and those are trichomes. That's the medicine. So that's what brings a lot of that strength, and that's what gives it that potency. Those are combat pain. So a lot of those strains, as I said, combat for like pain and great deal of pain. Then you have like those are cannabis strains. We do have CBD strains as well for Gorilla Glue as well. But Harlequin and like Star Tonic, those are high CBD strains, like 2, 3 to 1 CBD strains. So you know that those are going to help with severe comfort for your stomach. Those are going to be those things for that nausea. Those are going to be for those issues, for those cramps, and things of that nature. Skunk strains also are good for nausea. Blue Dream is good for euphoria. You have different strains who people who need things for different reasons. If you're anxiety, so like sativa strains, for instance, we'll say sativa strains. They are high THC level strains. So these strains are high. These are energy. These are stimulating. They reduce anxiety, but they also give you that like creativity. They do increase focus as well. And then you have like your indica. So those are like, I call sativa like stay up, energizing. And then indica we have, which is like relaxing, in the couch, relax, really relaxing and relief of pain. They also help with increasing appetite. They help with suppressing appetite as well. And then you have like your hybrid strains who take on those properties based on whatever parents are a part of that plant. So when you have the different cannabis strains, you'll see out there now that people will have that description, because people want to know that information used to not be readily available, but now you have the percentage of THC, you'll have that percentage of that CBD, you'll have that strain name. We may offer the parents of that, because then you can kind of do your research on the parents, because you want to know what properties they bring, what they heal. Is it inflammation? Is it pain? Will it give me energy? So that information is very vital when selecting and referring people or helping them make informed decisions on what will work for them. As I said, the possible benefits, so like they've been reported to us as chronic pain relief, insomnia relief, nausea, weight loss, skin. So you may have someone who has sensitive skin, or prosthetics. So our prosthetic patients, we have quite a few prosthetic patients, and they use some of the salves actually on where their nub is. And because it helps with relieving pain, it helps with their skin to heal it. Like they may have, dry skin, or they may have peeling, or it's just raw tender. It helps, heal it really fast, is what they've reported to us. So there's a magnitude of ways that they can use that salve, or they can use that cream to help them. Eczema patients have been using it recently. We've seen a lot of eczema patients and people with like psoriasis and things like that. So it's really a huge benefit that they're reporting back to us. So we just want to keep, keeping this dialogue open and sharing, and then, we can help the next person. And so just a little bit of ongoing education. According to the study by the RAND Corporation, it's a nonprofit think tank. They said between 15 and 44% of veterans deployed since 9/11 have developed a dependency on alcohol. 44% have difficulty with civilian life. 48 experience strains in family life, and 47 feel sudden outbursts of anger. So then in 2017, another study was done, and that was of like almost 6,000 veterans, and roughly 13% were diagnosed with PTSD. Nearly double the PTSD incidences rate among the general population. So that's huge. And then they say, while research has been contradictory or limited in some ways, some former members of the military say that cannabis helps them. It helps them manage their anxiety, their insomnia, their nightmares, whereas some other of the prescription drugs just made them feel stuck, or they couldn't get anything done, or it made them just gravely sick to their stomachs, or it caused other issues. And so they were like, well, I'd rather just do this, and it's a one thing, versus having to, take all these other things that I have available to me. And so we really think that more research should be conducted about this. And as we said that, did you know 75% estimated Michigan veterans are interested in using some type of form of cannabis to combat their pain? So that's a huge percentage, okay? That's really huge. that says a lot about them to be able to report it. But also that means that they're finding this plant very helpful. So that's good to know for people who are in that space and can kind of help and be able to help them be able to make that choice. Now there's so many different ways that, and there are so many companies that are out there that offer cannabis cards or marijuana cards. Some are legal, some are legit, and some are just scams, flat out scams. And so you have to be careful and be mindful of that when they are, patients have to be mindful of that when they are selecting who they want to go to, their certification doctor, basically. And first of all, they have to have a qualifying condition. All of those conditions are listed on the LARA, Michigan.gov website. But also, there are also doctors and there are also certification centers that will actually give you free cards. They will actually provide free cards to these veterans who are, may have low income or may have financial difficulties in, securing that card. So there are physicians and centers out there. And I do know that there are some physicians, some actual healthcare doctors that are out there that will fill the paperwork out. They don't particularly, they can't prescribe it per se, but they understand that that's what they are utilizing for a medical purpose. And so all people call us, they can call us. We sponsor doctor days. We work with local physicians and we go off site most of the time to conduct these opportunities. And then also just safely accessing it, because that allows them, because a lot of times we hear, well, I just got my card. I didn't know that I could come, here and get it. I've been getting it from whoever. And so we noticed that a lot of times the things that aren't in the medical facilities that have been licensed to provide this medicine to these patients, they are not what they say they are, or they're not the cleanest, or they may be contaminated. And so we definitely encourage them to not seek from their friend or the local guy that they know, but we encourage them to go to a facility that has been vetted, licensed, and has the medicine that can help them. And then I also want to talk about, they have a veteran and caregiver grow program. So we work with a lot of different facilities around the state, around the country, that have where they teach veterans how to grow their own medicine. Because a lot of them are really, really good. They have green thumbs. They can grow just about anything. I mean, they can fabricate things. They can do just about anything. They just need something to help them get to what they, get to that. And so, yeah, I think that that's a really nice program for veterans to be able to, it'll help them understand it, because I'm telling you, every day we push education before elevation. You have to be educated about what will work and what doesn't work, how to use it, because it's very important. That is very important these days, because we don't want someone to have a condition or disorder or, something going on and they select the wrong thing or they over medicate. So we're big on, we'll even write out the instructions for them. Hey, what did you say you do in the morning? Okay, good. So write that down. We'll have them keep a little chart and help themselves be able to kind of stay on track. And so that's really an awesome opportunity. And then that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about how do they do it? How are ways that veterans can safely access it? How do we educate them on what they are utilizing? Why do they utilize it? Why do they find benefit? What is the benefit? What are they using it for? So that's huge to us. But that's pretty much it. Again, I want to just say this disclaimer one more time on the screen here. This information discussed and contained within these slides should not be considered to be personal medical advice. This should be used for informational purposes only. Reference to specific product, process, or service, or the use of any trade, firm, or corporation name, is for the information and convenience of session attendees and does not constitute medical advice, endorsement, recommendation, or favoring by the Washtenaw County Medical Society or the Washtenaw County Health Department. Nothing, absolutely nothing can replace the relationship between patients and the relationship patients have with their medical providers. So with that being said, I know we covered a lot, but I know that if you all are here, you have a vested interest in this amazing plant. You want to understand how veterans use it in their everyday lives, how it benefits them. I think that there are a magnitude of reasons, and we've gone over several, but some of the most recent are going to be that pain, that stress reliever, anxiety, attacks, manic episodes, nausea. You know, those are the type of things, and arthritis pain is huge. Those are the type of benefits that they are able to combat that, receive from that plant and combat that pain and combat that ailment with. And we really, 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 really understand the dynamics, and we understand, the patients here, and we try to understand that need. And so whatever we can do to spread this information, we are here for you. We have an open door policy. We'd be glad to speak with anyone regarding this. Thank you so much for your time today. And if anyone has any questions, I don't know if they have them in the chat, but I will go ahead and turn this over. Oh, really quickly, I'm sorry. I wanted to quickly just talk really fast about our Meds and Meals program. I'm sorry. That is huge. It's a benefit that has been going on over a year. We've been seeing more and more people have jumped on board, and 2 other states are going to adopt this program. And so it's growing. It's really huge. I appreciate your time and what you're doing. Thanks for being here today, for taking the time to listen and educate yourselves on this. Thanks again.
That was awesome. Thank you so much to Teesha for being with us today presenting. Does anyone have any questions that Teesha could answer? We have one question. You spoke about so many resources for vets and cannabis. Where can we find those resources?
So resources, if you're a veteran, we kind of customize it to you. So we've referred people to, as I mentioned, programs for bedding, for food, for additional resources to come in and clean their homes. We work with different volunteer organizations. So if you would like to email us at info@a2huronview.com, I will be happy to, if you tell me what specific resources, I can tell you what companies we work with, but there's a pretty significant list, and it basically is customized to that person. So if you needed resources here in Ann Arbor, or if you needed them even around the state, we can help locate those resources for you.
Awesome. Do we have any more questions for Teesha? Well, I don't see any popping up, so we can wrap it up. We wanted to thank you all for attending today's webinar series. We have 2 more webinars left, and the next one will be next Tuesday, featuring with Grant Richardson. If you're interested in joining us, you can find our registration link in the chat or on our website, which I will put in the chat for us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
It does, we might have one more question here. Oh, did she might have hopped off. Are you still there, Teesha?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could, if you have a question, if you could put it in the chat. We've shared the website again. There is one question about, are you available to speak to other groups? So I would say in general that if you are interested in, hello everyone, maybe what I can do is with the recording, and when we save this and put it on our website, if you're interested in following up with Teesha about their services or what they do, that you can then contact her directly. I'm sure that would be okay with you. And that way you have, you can, look at those or contact her directly and check out the information that they have available. And then there was one more, resources for veterans who are getting licensed in Michigan for cannabis. So if you have anything specific, I think, like you said, you kind of just tailor that to the specific needs of the person. You've collected a lot of things over your time working with veterans specifically. So if there's something you are looking for specifically, please just reach out and contact Teesha directly. And what was that website again? Because I'll plop that in the chat.
So so our website is www.a2huronview, the number 2, HURONVIEW.com. And you can actually just do a contact right through there and send a message, and it'll pop right up, and we'll respond. We are here for our veteran community. We are here for people who have questions, who would like to educate themselves. We are big on that. We take that time. We don't rush. We don't have a problem with answering questions. No question is a silly question, or I've heard it before question. So we are here for you. We are a resource for this community.
Thank you so much. And we will be adding the information to our website. We've posted that there. That's the bit.ly Cannabis in Practice. And we do have 2 more webinars, so please join us again. Or if you're looking for recording, jump back and see parts of this again. We will get the recording posted for everybody. If you found it informative, please share it with others. We greatly appreciate everybody today. And thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Bye.